Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second episode of BayHawks Live, presented by LECOM. My name is Michael Somrak, and I will be your host again for the next 30 minutes. Just a reminder, the nature of these sessions is to be as interactive as possible. We encourage all those in attendance to submit questions in the Q&A feature, and we'll do our best to filter through those as this episode goes on. For today's episode, I'm joined by Erie BayHawks players Scottie Lindsey and Vitto Brown. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me today. Very excited to get this show on the road.
Sure.
So for those who don't know, both of these guys, Scottie Lindsey came to us this season after spending time with the Grand Rapids Drive last year. Prior to that, he spent 4 years at Northwestern University in his home state of Illinois. Scottie appeared in over 30 games in each of his 4 years, including starting and playing in each of the final 63 games of his career. He was a key driving force to Northwestern's first ever NCAA tournament appearance in the 16-17 season, leading the Wildcats to their first NCAA tournament victory over number 9 Vanderbilt in the first round. We'll if we get to the college days, we'll see if we can talk about that missed call against Gonzaga in the second round.
That's a Sweet 16 appearance right there. That's a Sweet 16 appearance, man.
But you know, we'll get started with some G League stuff off the bat. And for Vitto, for those that don't know Vitto as well, he came to us this season after stints with the Wisconsin Herd, Agua Caliente Clippers, and the Maine Red Claws. It's his third season, and Vitto had a great season. Career highs actually setting points per game, rebounds, assists, blocks, field goals, you name it. He's set some career highs. And also, Vitto spent 4 years of collegiate basketball in the Big Ten as well, except he played for Wisconsin. I know you guys played, possibly played against each other a couple seasons. And there, Vitto actually helped the team to back-to-back Final Four appearances in 14 and 15, and even a national championship appearance in 2015. So, gentlemen, thank you again for joining. We're going to start it off with just, I guess, year one with the BayHawks. Vitto, we'll start with you, and just some overall thoughts on how year one went.
It was an interesting year, roller coaster of a year, as Scottie can attest to. The G League oftentimes is. But I think we both appreciate that. It makes you grow as a person, as a player, as a teammate. All walks of life, you get better in the G League. So, I thought for a first-year team, being a whole new organization, we had some growing pains. But I think towards the end of the year, before the unfortunate end, I think we were on the uptrend. I think we were doing better as a team. Finally, starting to really gel with each other and learn how to play with each other. So. Overall, could we have won more games? Yeah, for sure. But I think everybody grew from this season, and overall, I'd call it a success.
Yeah, my season for the BayHawks was a little bit different because I was coming off an ACL injury, and this was my first games back. So I missed my first 10 games. And that was kind of a rough start to the year for me, just putting a lot of work in, making sure I'm ready to get back on the court, and then having to miss time. So that, like Vitto said, I mean, this season was definitely a roller coaster. There was a lot of obstacles and a lot of different things that affected us during the season. But every season, you definitely get better, and you learn from losses and wins. And I definitely think that we learned a lot of lessons this year, and we can take that with us the rest of our careers.
Sure.
And mentioning that, talking about what you can take away and what you can build forward, even with time spent last year with the Drive and Vitto, you with whether it was Agua Caliente, Maine, the Herd. If you want to start, Scottie, and then we'll get Vitto's insight as well. What were you able to take away, I guess, from year one in the G League, transitioning from college as well?
The pros is just a little bit different. In pros, you're kind of on your own a little bit. It's not the same type of college environment where everyone is, such team and oriented and led by the coach to be team oriented. So that was just something I had to get used to my first year. And just, working on your own, like no one's going to tell you, you're not going to have some coach to tell you have to get in the gym. As a professional, that's something that you have to do on your own. You have to make sure you're ready to play every game. And I think my first year, that was just something that I worked on a lot, just being prepared, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he hit the nail on the head for real. having been on 4 different teams, I've seen pretty much every coaching style there is to see in the G League. And this was a different one. Our coach really valued practice as a coach should. I've had coaches in teams in the past where it was like AAU, like we came to the game and we'd be like, all right, no practice the next day or optional shoot around. So like you said, you really had to take it upon yourself to really get your extra work in. And so I think that helps you grow as well, knowing that nobody's really going to hold your hand through this and baby you. Now, some guys in this league might get that treatment. We weren't those 2 guys. We were not those 2 guys. And that's another thing we had to get used to was, in college you had the starters, you had the favorites. In the G League, it's a slightly different hierarchy of players. There's all different types of contracts. There's people getting sent down game after game. There's assignments, people getting called up. So in college, you'd had the same team most of the time. In the G League, you could have a different team every night. So getting used to just being flexible, I think that really is one of our biggest takeaways.
Yeah, and that's definitely one thing to take into perspective, as you had mentioned. You could go from team to team. There's no certainty from that, and then it's really molding your own craft, your own style into who you see yourself as a player and where you want to be. We actually have a message in the chat already. This one goes out to Scottie. What do you feel like in your game improved the most this year? Also, go BayHawks and go Wildcats.
Okay. This year, I was able to sort of play a little bit more of a point guard role. The coaches gave me that opportunity in that role sometimes as to bring up the ball and try to run the team. They felt that I had a very high IQ for the game, a very good feel for the game, and I could make a lot of passes with my size that certain players couldn't, and still also handle the ball too. So just getting that feel for the game and being able to run the team just a little bit was something that I enjoyed doing and definitely improved on this year.
No, definitely. I think that's great, and I guess we'll piggyback off that as well. And Vitto, we'll go to you. What do you feel like was the biggest improvement or just overall aspect to your game this season as compared to the last couple of years?
Mm-hmm. Well, I learned that Scottie was a dog this year. I didn't know that for real. I played him in college, and he was just coming into his own for real that year. So I think his senior year, when I was already graduated by that time, is when he really was like, okay, I'm probably the best player on this team. And so, getting to see that firsthand, that was awesome. So good work. Yeah, for sure. But for me, like he said, getting more comfortable. I've had coaches in the past who literally said, "Don't dribble the ball." It's like, don't even put the ball down. Like, you catch and shoot or you pass it. Right. And I was like, dang, that hurts, coach. But this coach, Coach Pannone, people can say what they want. That man gave you an opportunity. And he really, he would let you know his thoughts. Like, I think you're better at this, than that. But he wasn't going to shoot you down and say, you can't do this. He was always going to give you, if you could do something and make it work, he was going to give you that opportunity. So I think just having that freedom and, I was able to, obviously shoot a better percentage from 3. I established my post game more than I had in past years, and just became a more overall threat on offense and defense. So I thought it was definitely a good growing year.
Yeah, and actually, we'll continue to ride with that. And we have another question posted in the chat. How difficult is it to adjust your style of play, whether it is, Scottie, for you going from a 2 or 3, switching from a guard to a possible forward or playing that wing? Vitto, for you, switching anywhere from playing a 3 to a 5. How difficult is that adjustment? How much goes into that on your guys' side? I guess, Vitto, we'll start with you since we have you on screen, and then Scottie, we'll make our way back over to you.
Yeah. Well, the adjustment depends on what system you get into. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain G League teams are going to have to adjust. You're going to have to bend. You're going to have to change your game more than others. So for this one, I thought this was the closest I've ever been to playing like high school. When we were at our primes in high school and we could do anything. That's how I kind of felt this year. I was like, I'm not being held back. He's not telling me, don't do this, don't do that. So the adjustment for me was mentally, getting out of your own way. And I think Scottie can probably attest, like, you know, you got the opportunity, you got the ball. Now it's like, okay, all the time you put in the gym, all the work you put in, now you're going to actually execute it in the game. So the adjustment for me has been, all right, let's do what you practice. Let's do what you spend all these hours in the gym doing. And I think I was able to do that well this year.
Yeah, I agree. Vito said it earlier. When you're playing in the G League, you just have to be flexible. And example on this team, I played multiple positions. Vito played multiple positions, and that's just something you have to be ready for, and you have to be able to do. If you want to play in this league and play in many other leagues, you just got to be flexible and watch a lot of film and talk with the coaches and do all of that type of stuff. Do the extra stuff because that's what's needed for us to be good and show our results on the court.
Yeah. And speaking about results on the court and playing, I know you guys had quite a few battles against each other in college. Do you guys have any memorable moments, games that went on? Scottie, I don't know if there was a career high on your end, or Vito, if you guys trounced Northwestern by 20 or 30 in a game, but just wanted to get any.
Before he says anything.
Oh, man.
My freshman year, they had the #1 team in the country. So that game is out. That game is thrown out. They had the #1. They were different that year. I'll just say that.
We're the same.
I mean, the rest of the years, I felt like it was a battle. We tried our best to compete with them. They were consistently, a top 10 team in the country. But I felt like besides my freshman year, everything else was a battle for sure.
Oh.
Vito, you have a rebuttal?
my back on screen yet. I need y'all to see my facial expression. Okay. This is what I'll say. When Coach Ryan first retired and Coach Gard took over, I think we played Scottie's team either our third or fourth game, like with the new coach. Okay, so obviously, he's still learning us. Obviously, he had been an assistant coach, but it's not the same being an assistant coach and head coach. So, am I pinning the blame on him? Absolutely not. But what I will say is that we didn't have our flow. We did not have our chemistry. We just lost a Hall of Fame coach. So it was like, and they're kicking us while they're down. That's what I'm saying. And that was a battle. Like, they didn't blow us out. Those two words don't even go in the same sentence when you talk about us losing to Northwestern. Having said that, fast forward to my senior year Big Ten tournament. What was that final score, Scottie?
I don't know. All I know is that we played 3 games in 3 days, and we played a game at 8 p.m. and then the next day we played them at like 3 p.m. Okay. So we didn't even get 24 hours to rest. So they got us that game, but we were definitely tired. Why that is? I think that's a legitimate excuse.
Do you know why they didn't get the rest? Get him off the screen. They did get the rest because they weren't good enough to get that high enough seed to get the bye. Okay, so we beat them handily by about 25 points. If you go back and check the box score, Scottie did have a great game. He had about 16 that game, I believe. But one man cannot beat a team. So we're talking Wisconsin versus Northwestern. That's just not a team I took many L's to. I think we just won. Yeah.
That's true. But we did get our wins. I think we got at least 3 wins against them. So I'm good with that.
2 of those came when I was gone, so not the same.
Well, guys, we'll keep the ball rolling into college just for a little bit longer. Scottie, I mentioned it earlier when we introduced you to the audience. You were part of Northwestern's first team to not only get a berth in the NCAA tournament but also win a game against number 9 seeded Vanderbilt. What did that not only the season as a whole but also getting to the tournament and winning that first round matchup? What did that mean to you and mean to the guys on the team as well?
Yeah, I feel like I remember that game, like every aspect of that game. That was probably the greatest atmosphere I've ever played in for a basketball game. I feel like all of our fans showed up for us. And for Northwestern, that was just something that was never seen before, never heard of. And that was just a special moment for all of us because, all of my recruiting class came to Northwestern for the opportunity to be the first team to ever make an NCAA tournament in our school's history. And to be able to do that, that was really special and a testament to how much work we put in and how hard we worked. So I'll never forget that, and that's always going to be a special moment for me.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, especially, you know, the history and being able to say that you ingrained yourself as, you know, the first team ever, and being part of that is great. And Vitto, on your end as well, I know you have a little storied career being with Wisconsin and all those Final Four runs, national championship appearances. I guess my question for you is, from, you know, freshman year to senior year, top down, how much effort, how much work is put into consistently having greatness and consistently building that program to get back to those NCAA tournament appearances, Sweet 16, Elite Eights, Final Fours, all of that?
That's a tough question because, you know, I was spoiled, you know, like Scottie said, we had a bomb squad, and like, I'd be lying if I said I had a huge role in that. Like, I had a role, you know what I'm saying? Like, I worked Frank in practice, you know what I mean? I worked all I'm definitely instrumental, but at the same time, you know, I wasn't first chair or nothing like that. You know, these guys, you know, to come out and go to the Final Four your first 2 years. The first year was, first off, that was a complete surprise. Nobody expected that. And I think we went undefeated in our non-conference that first year too. So it was like, dang, we're really good. And we didn't know it coming in, you know. And so I wish I could sit here and lie and say that we did a whole bunch of extra work, you know, like just running sprints till we passed out. That's not the type of team we were. We just had a lot of good, solid, fundamental guys who loved the game and loved winning, and our coach just knew how to put everything together. It was a different level of focus, obviously, you know, once the tournament came and we realized, oh, you know, we beat American University by like 40, you know, the first game, and then we won the next game. It might have been Coastal Carolina or something. So like, we're like, oh snap! Like, we're all of a sudden we're in the Sweet 16. It's like we have a chance here. So I think you could definitely see the mental focus shift after that. And then, you know, once we lost in the way we did to Kentucky with that Andrew Harrison long 3-pointer, we were like, all right, we're making it back next year. So literally the whole next year was like, we had that goal in mind. We knew we were going to make it. And obviously, you know, it takes a little bit of luck here and there. But at the same time, like, that was our plan the whole season. Like, we're not going to say we didn't care about Big Ten championships and stuff. That just came as a byproduct of wanting to make it back to the championship. And it ended up working. And then, you know, 2 Sweet 16s, those were failures for us.
All right.
Well, guys, we'll keep it going. I know the extent of my basketball career as a 6th grade MVP, so I don't hold a candle to you guys. But we'll switch gears a little bit, and we'll talk about everything that's been going on with the stay at home. Essentially, we have a question in the chat. With all this time away, how have you guys been able to stay in shape, work on your game, also form an appreciation for the game? What has been going on your guys' side to, as mentioned, stay in shape and continue to work on your game? Scottie, we'll start with you, and then Vitto will move on over to you.
Yeah, since I got back home, which was about 2 months ago, I've just been working out as much as I can, doing everything I can to stay in shape. And if you guys follow Vitto on his Instagram, you can see the same thing. I think he has a barn or somewhere he's been shooting at. I'm kind of jealous,
Right.
like where he get that from. But yeah, just trying to find gyms, courts as much as I can, stay in the weight room, that type of stuff. I have connections out here where I live, and luckily I've been able to find gyms that people been able to let me work out in. So that's been good, and I've been in shape, so I feel great still.
Like Scottie said, you know, part of this game is about connections and who you know and stuff like that. So I think this pandemic has really challenged us to find all of those connections. You know what I'm saying? And you reaching out I got people reaching out to me every day. Like, you got a gym? Nope. Sure don't. But no, like he said, it's I think, you know, regardless of how bad and the timing of all this was and how bad the whole situation is, I think it's been a growing time for a lot of us. And I think you're going to see the people who, you know, took advantage of this time at home and the ones who didn't. Like I said, for me and Scottie, because I know he's a hard worker, we're definitely going to come out of this better than we were going into it. and I think that's just the goal. Doing whatever you can to stay in shape and hopefully get in even better shape, and continue to work on your game, be that mentally, physically, or emotionally.
And I gotta back up Scottie's remarks on Vitto's Instagram, whether it's from working out to, I guess, videos of neighborhood cats and doing tricks with candles and smoke. He's got a lot of fun. You guys got to give him a follow if you haven't already been doing it.
Vitto got an interesting Instagram account. If y'all go to his page, go to a video of him lifting. That will be the funniest video you ever see. Please go look at that video. I mean, I was laughing for like 3 hours straight the first time I saw that video. So y'all go check that out for sure.
Oh man, appreciate that. I still got the scar on my back to prove.
And for those that don't know, too, Vitto's also a very culinary guy. He's got a Vitto's Vittles account too, so make sure to he's up to date with everything on social. So make sure you guys.
And an R&B singer at that too. An R&B singer too.
Yeah. And from what I heard, hey Scottie, you started a TikTok account and everything too. So I don't know how that's been rolling, but
it hasn't been rolling lately. But I'll get back on it. All
right. We'll have to see some more videos for sure. Well, Vitto, we got another question for you in the chat. So congratulations on signing your deal with France, but it's more so just what you're looking forward to on and off the court moving forward. I guess both of you guys once basketball gets back to play.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I haven't really even told anybody. I'm not sure how everybody's finding this out. No. I'm looking forward to, like you said, just competing, being able to compete again. I know guys, true pros who want to get better. They want to play with other pros and continue to work on their craft. And because iron sharpens iron. So that's what I'm looking forward to most. I mean, I've been putting in a lot of work, by myself and with another person here and there, but haven't really played, any competitive one-on-one or anything like that. So that's definitely going to be fun. Putting into practice everything that you've been working on by yourself and figuring out how it's going to work moving forward. And like you said, when the NBA comes back or whatever, I'm sure we'll both be wanting to give it another shot, be it summer league next year, whatever. But the dream doesn't end here. It's just a little bump in the road. But I think, like I said, we're going to come out better from it.
Yeah, I definitely think that we're both itching to get back on the court. I would assume any pro basketball player is. This is a lot of time already to be off of your regular schedule and not be playing. So we're definitely excited to potentially get back on the court. And like you said, we've been putting a lot of work in, and we want to show how much we've gotten better and things we've improved on. So that's always exciting. And, competition is great. And we're both up for any challenge when we step on the court. So that's exciting.
And I guess we'll field one more question before we just kind of open up the floor for any other questions and answers. But Scottie and Vitto, this one is actually both for you. Has there been anything new you guys have implemented in your game, whether it's from the beginning of the season to even just now with everything going on? Has there been anything that you've tried to implement new into your game? Scottie, we'll start with you since we've got you on screen, and then Vitto, we'll work our way back to you.
Yeah, with my knee injury, my athleticism is always going to be put in question. And I think that's something with time that'll get better. It's only been a year and a half since I've had my surgery for it, but I'm always trying to get quicker. I'm always trying to get more athletic. And I think that's going to help multiple aspects of my game, especially my defense. So I'm always trying to make sure my legs are getting stronger.
I mean, shoot, I got the same answer. I tore my MCL right before the season, like 2 months before training camp. So, I had to get back from that, but I was able to recover, pretty quickly. But like you said, athleticism is, that's the name of the game at this point. So I think the people who have skill and athleticism like us, those are going to be the ones who really shine. So, just kind of adding more athletic person to the game. I had a couple dunks, here and there, but I'm trying to get on my side and cheat them,
Right.
But
hey, we all saw that dunk over Taco Fall.
Oh, yeah, right.
Hey, yeah.
Forward to doing it the last game of the season again. But like you said, just working on being able to create your own shot too. Scottie's got that down pat. Got that down pat. I'm more of a catch and shoot guy, but I think if we're able to, be able to be efficient and score and play defense, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing I've been working on is just continue to work on ball handling, quickness, and that's going to translate into other parts of the game too.
Well, it's good to see you guys aren't staying stagnant, still working on your games. I think that's awesome on both your guys' sides. And one last question, Vitto, we'll start with you and go back to Scottie since we got you on screen. Has there been any hobbies, any things you guys are doing to keep busy? I know, Vitto, I don't know if you want to touch on the masks that you and the family have been working on, if there's anything else that's been going on, but we'll start with that and go from there.
Yeah, that's been the craziest part about all this. My mom's always been good on the sewing machine, but never a true seamstress. At least I didn't think at first, but now you might as well call her that. We've been down in the mask shop, which is the basement. At the peak of it, I mean, I'm talking 8 hours a day, like no exaggeration. We've already sent out over 500, 600 masks to various parts, like. I think we're up to 30 different states now, 2 countries. So and I've learned how to sew a little bit, un poquito. So that's Spanish, by the way. But anyway, but yeah, so that's been the main thing that I've been doing, and then obviously the basketball hasn't really been a whole lot of time for much else. I haven't even been able to watch my anime like usual. Yeah.
I think for me, it has been cooking. My family, my mom, my aunts, they're all known for cooking very, very good food. All my friends and coaches can attest to that. And I just feel like that's something in my family that's important to us. And I've just been trying to learn. And I've made a couple meals, desserts and stuff like that. And a quick shout out to my mom. She makes the best cakes in the world. She made me a cake for my 24th birthday a week ago, and that was probably the best cake I had in my life. And I think that she's gonna start a business. Like I've literally convinced her to start. Her cakes are that good, so watch out for that. Watch out for that.
Keep me posted. I got a big sweet tooth, so I'll be one to buy for sure.
Okay, got you for sure.
Well, fun, guys. We've reached the conclusion up here. We got about less than 60 seconds left, but I just wanted to say thank you again, guys, so much for joining us today for this second episode. I thought this was a lot of fun getting both of you guys on, and again, thanks for taking time out of your days to just hop on and chat for a little bit.
Yeah, anytime, of course, man. I get on live with my boy any day, man. It's all fun. It's all love. So
appreciate you hitting us up, Mike.
All righty. And guys, thank you again for joining in for the second episode of BayHawks Live presented by LECOM. We look forward to more of these episodes to come, and be sure to stay tuned on our social media channels when these episodes do roll around. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right. See you guys soon.
Yeah. Good work, guys.